Two local cases are highlighting the difficulty of extraditing accused criminals when they flee the country. Sometimes they wait for years for extradition. What takes so long? ABC 7's Jess Dowdrick joins us to explain. Jess.
Alan, it's not often that law enforcement here on the Suncoast deals with international extradition, but it's happened twice recently. The process is long and it's complicated, leaving families waiting years for justice.
Two wanted fugitives in Manatee County have been arrested overseas in recent weeks. Both men waiting to be extradited back to America. First, Andres Callazos, a man wanted for murdering his ex-girlfriend, Jasmine Catano. Authorities learning he flew to Colombia the same day that Catano was found dead. In July, 13 months after the murder, Callazos was captured in Colombia, now waiting to be extradited to America. A second case is that of Thomas Gross.
He stole my young mother from me, and that is unforgivable.
Gross wanted for stabbing his mother, 78-year-old Ina Gross, to death. She was found dead inside of the garage of her Lakewood Ranch home in January of 2012. He was charged with the murder in 2014. Then, finally 6 years after the killing, just last month, Gross was arrested in Israel.
I learned early on that I needed to be patient.
Gross's sister, Ellen Girth, says Thomas never fled to Israel. Instead, he's a dual citizen and had been happily living with his wife and family before the arrest.
He needs to pay the price, and being incarcerated is justice. Being extradited to the United States and being sentenced is justice.
Unfortunately, the process is still far from over, although there were a few new developments in the case this week.
Tom has been denied bail, and that he will remain in Israeli jail during the extradition process.
Gross does have the option to appeal. As far as his sister Girth understands, at the end of February, Gross will have an extradition hearing where the Israel courts will decide if and when he will be extradited to the United States.
I've been especially impressed by the Israeli authorities who, again, have been very open with me.
Although Girth already waited 6 years for justice for her mother, the wait could be years more. Extraditions take time.
It could take 30 days or it could take several years. It just depends on the country, the circumstances, and every situation is treated differently.
And they happen more often than you think.
I can tell you from my experience, I've been in federal law, I was in federal law enforcement before retiring for over 33 years, and there's a lot of extradition requests that go in and out both ways, not only from the United States to another country, but also individuals that are in the United States that are wanted by other countries as well.
How well American law enforcement and law enforcement overseas work together depends on the relationship that the countries and departments have.
It's all about personalities and trying to work together for the common good of everyone.
For America, we have federal agents all over the world.
Like the FBI covers over 200 countries and territories throughout the world. So we always have embassies or consulates that we can reach out to for assistance of this nature.
Once a local agency, like the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, for example, determines that a wanted fugitive is in another country, they'll contact federal law enforcement to get involved.
They'll actually need to provide certain documentation from the courts.
Whether or not the extradition can happen, first and foremost depends on if there is an extradition treaty between countries.
And the United States does have treaties with over 100 different countries, but even then they're all slightly different.
If and when the person is extradited, they'll face the criminal justice system in the jurisdiction where the crime was committed. So for the murder of Ina Gross, if Thomas Gross is extradited from Israel, he'll be tried in Manatee County. It's a long and complicated process, something that Girth now better understands.
But justice for my mother has been worth waiting for, simply because I am convinced that there will be justice.
The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office hasn't dealt with an extradition in years, and for Manatee County, 2 in the works is very unusual. Now, if either Gross or Callazos are extradited back to Manatee County, both of them will have to decide together, each country, how they will be transported and when.
Jess, thank you.